If you're a nutritionist or a health coach or a dietitian and you've recently started your social media journey, then this video is going to be perfect for you, because in this video, I'm going to tell you 7 ways in which you can increase the engagement on your stories so that you have more conversions for your services. Now, I have been a practicing nutritionist for the last 11 years and I have grown my page over 100,000 followers completely organically. Now, the fundamental of increased engagement on your page, in my opinion, comes from the emotional connection that our followers have with us, and that emotional connection itself creates a community-like feeling for our followers when they are following us and when they are looking at our page. And that sense of community leads to a sense of familiarity, which also leads to ever-flowing leads for you for your services. And in this process of creating engagement and creating this community feeling, Instagram stories play a very important role. So let's just jump into the number 1 way you can increase engagement on your stories for your Instagram page. And that is as simple as sharing your daily life with your followers. Now, what can be a better way for your followers to feel emotionally connected to you then they themselves seeing you in your own element in your daily life? It can be as simple as sharing your own routine with them and then letting them decide whether they can relate with you as a person or not. And here is a pro tip. As simple you can keep your routine, the more interaction and the more engagement you will get from your audience, because then that is going to be the most relatable for them. The next way that I want to discuss, which can help you increase the engagement on your Instagram stories, is conducting very simple quizzes for your audience. There is a very interesting feature inside Instagram stories where you can poll your audience or ask for their opinion over something just with 2 options, yes or no, true or false. And this feature you can leverage by giving out knowledge in a fun way to your audience. And it can be as simple as this example. I just posted one of my meals and asked a very simple question and 2 really simple options. As a result, your audience feels really excited to click on one of the options, and as a result, your engagement goes up. The next way that I want to talk about, which can help you increase engagement on your stories, is asking for their opinion on content or your ideas. How many times do you feel confused regarding a specific topic that you really want to make a video or content on, but you can't decide whether that will be a good topic to discuss on your page or whether your audience will like it or not? It's as simple as that. Ask for their opinion on your stories. It's very simple to do this. Just go in the stickers and then look for the question sticker, write your question and ask for their opinion. It's that simple. The same feature can also be used to conduct Q&A sessions with your audience, where you ask them to ask a question from you and then you can answer all of those questions in your stories. That way, you develop camera confidence as well. You show your face also on your stories, and your audience will also feel connected to you because you are answering their questions. The next way to improve engagement on your stories is to share your own ideas and asking your audience opinion on that idea. Now, this one will really come handy if you are a very experimental person. And if you keep trying new recipes, if you keep coming up with new philosophical ideas, then that's something that you can discuss with your audience on Instagram and then ask for their opinion on it. This will not only help you document your thoughts and ideas, but it will also show a very different side of you, which is just not nutrition based, to your audience. And that way, they will be able to connect with you as a human being rather than just a dietitian. And that is going to strengthen your emotional bond with your audience. Now here, it is also possible that you get intimidated by your own thoughts and ideas and you feel that it is not perfect enough to be shown on your story. However, that cannot be more wrong than ever, because when you're completely filterless in front of your audience sees you as a real person in this sea of so many fabricated influencers. This will not only make you stand out in the eyes of your audience, but it will also strengthen your bond like you can never even imagine with your audience. And an extension of this point is the next point to increase the engagement on your stories, and that is sharing your own experiences on your stories. Now, on a daily basis, we come across a lot of different people, a lot of sessions that we conduct, a lot of colleagues that we meet, and with everyone we have a certain level of equation. And at times, that equation leads to meaningful or non-meaningful conversations, and that can have its own inferences and its own understanding for different people. Let me give you an example for this. When I was working in a skin clinic, there were a lot of people who were not qualified to be a dietitian, but then they were working as a dietitian there. That's also the reason why I left it very soon. But As a result of that, there used to be a lot of clashes in the knowledge whenever they used to sit with me. I was forced to give a lot of mono diets to give quick result to my clients so they can give more money by exhausting their existing sessions. However, I was never in the favor of that. And as a result, I left the job also very early. But we can take a learning from these kind of experiences and share that with our audience. That way, they will also get crystal clear about the way you want to work with your clients. And that way, there's a very high possibility that when somebody is really in sync with that thought, they might turn up as your client. And the next point that I want to discuss, which can help you increase engagement on your stories, is to share your current projects. You might be somebody in a job who has taken up a new exciting project and you would like to discuss about that. Of course, the limited details as much as you can share with your audience. Or you can be a freelancer coming up with a new program for your clients, and that is something that you can share on your stories with your audience. Of course, you can combine this with a lot of polls and stickers and questions, and that will give you a fair idea about what kind of services you can launch in the future which your audience might really like, and then sign up for that as well. Consider these kind of discussions as a market research that you are doing for your audience, for your future projects and your future programs. And a pro tip here, make sure that you're documenting these things somewhere in your system or in a diary, so that whenever in the future you're planning to launch something for your audience, you know what kind of things they like. It also improves the chances of the success of that project whenever you launch it. And the next way to increase engagement on your stories, very important and very highly underrated, because I see nobody doing that. That is showing your failures. Social media, especially Instagram, is filled with picture perfect lives, picture perfect people, and picture perfect faces, bodies, everything. However, standing out with your own imperfections can be the only thing that you need to actually stand out of that crowd. Almost every one of us suffers with something or the other in life. However, we usually try to mask all of those things with all the goody-goody and rosy stuff. However, when you are actually being vulnerable with your audience, that's the best way to improve engagement on your page, because that's the way that people are going to definitely reach out to you and tell them their opinion about the topic. For example, in the last year, I was body shamed multiple times on social media because of the weight gain that I had after my marriage. And of course, initially, I wanted to hide that away. I wanted to not show it to anyone, and I was also feeling very bad about it. However, when I realized that the knowledge that I have is still with me, and all of these people who are saying bad stuff about me, maybe they are really sad people, and they judge people only by their exterior, not the knowledge or the value that they can provide to them. As a result of that, I started sharing the screenshots of every time somebody body shamed me on my stories. And I kid you not, there were so many loving messages that I used to get every single time I was posting anything about body shaming that I was getting, and it made me feel really special. And at the same time made the engagement of my page also really high. In fact, you might relate with it a lot, because as a result of various factors, not everybody looks perfect, but at the same time, they can also have the right kind of knowledge. And I have seen a lot of nutritionists who are not the picture perfect, but they still have a lot of knowledge in them. Of course, I do not mean that you should promote unhealthy body standards, but at the same time, it's always good to keep working on your own body. If you are not feeling perfect, or if you're not healthy, if you're not in the right fat percentage range, however, that should not stop you from sharing your knowledge with your audience. There will always be people who will come out and body shame you, but hey, since you are already on the journey of betterment, it shouldn't matter. Even I didn't let these people get to my head and stop making content. I was still making content, and I was still working out, eating clean, and as a result of that, you can see the change that I have now. However, that just brought me closer to my existing audience, who were really loyal to me and who loved me for who I am and the kind of value that I can give to them. I hope this video gave you a lot of perspective about how you can increase your engagement on your stories and at the same time be closer to your audience on Instagram. And if that did, let me know in the comments below which one tip is going to be your favorite and you're going to apply that the first. And also, if you are someone who really wants to excel in their career as a freelance nutritionist, then watch my free training which is linked in the description box so that you can learn what are the kind of mistakes that new nutritionists usually make and how to fix them. And to continue this series of Instagram stories, in the next week's video, I am going to talk about 7 ways in which you can make aesthetically appealing stories on Instagram for yourself. If that topic interests you at all, then click on the notification bell because that way YouTube will tell you when I upload that video next. And on that note, Manisha Mehta signing off, and I would wish you that you keep bossing forever. Bye boss.